Hey guys, Tedward here. Last spring, I was kind of coming out of a low point in my life, and I was trying to experience more things. I talked to my friend Jess for a while, and I was telling her that you need to just get out and do stuff, not to be afraid of anything. I wanted to cycle more. I used to ride my bike a lot. So I told her, I said, you know what, I'm going to get on my bike. I'm going to ride everywhere in the city. I don't need my car anymore. I'm not going to use my Charlie card. I'm just going to go and ride my bike. About a week after that happened, I get hit by a car. It was nighttime, I had a light on, I was taking a left onto Mass Ave in Cambridge, and a taxi cab came past me across the double yellows and then took a right in the middle of the intersection and just nailed me. Luckily, I wasn't hurt too badly, but it definitely freaked me out. And when I got hit, Leon was 50 feet behind me, and he actually sprinted, flagged down the cab, and pulled him over. We called the police. It was a whole big thing, but nothing really came of it because I was fine. I scraped up my knee a little bit. Fortunately, I was wearing a helmet, but at the end of it all, I got up and I wasn't that injured, so there were no charges against the cab driver. Unless I was going to take it to court, nothing was going to happen. So I think it's silly because if I had been in a car and we had collided, there would have been more of a write-up about this. That's not to say the emergency people were super nice, the cops were very friendly, some of them were cyclists themselves, but you know, you're not on a registered vehicle, you're just on a bike, so unless you get killed, nobody cares. And I definitely had to take back what I said to Jess because maybe you should go out and do stuff, but you still run risk of getting hit by a car. But the truth is, there is this really strange rivalry between motorists and cyclists, and this still baffles my mind. I understand that if you're a cyclist who blasts through red lights and ignores the traffic rules, then yeah, that's, you know, naturally you're going to create some road rage. What doesn't make sense is when a motorist is immediately mad at a cyclist just for being a cyclist. Cyclists have rights. I've been run off the road a few times. In South Carolina, I got run off the road with my buddy. A guy in a Highlander ran us off and then decided to try to back over us home on an empty road. There was nobody out there, it was just us. And he came at us with a mag light, and luckily bikes make a good weapon, so hold those up for defense. But we went to the police and we reported it. The police had nothing to say. As a cyclist, remember, you may have rights in the law, but nobody pays attention to them unless you're in a city that truly respects cyclists. Cycling is more dangerous than riding a motorcycle. Absolutely. I think if you're going to ride a motorcycle, you're riding at the same speed as everybody else. At least you're reducing that delta in velocity. On a bike, you never go more than 20 miles an hour on flat pavement. If you get hit by a car, you're going to get worked. Even if you get hit by a bike, you're going to get worked. But anyway, I love cycling, and right after that, I was at a party and I'd had a few drinks, and I was talking to my friend Mike, and he said, hey, my buddy just dropped out of this charity ride. Do you want to come do it with me? And I was like, yeah, I need to get over this fear, because at this point, I couldn't ride outside anymore. I was too afraid of the cars. I was too afraid of the traffic. So he tells me about this ride. It's a 50-mile ride up in Vermont, the Harpoon point-to-point ride. And I said, yeah, let's do this. This will help me get over my fears. I kept trying to train. I kept trying to go out and train, but I could not get myself to ride on roads. So what I did was I started riding rollers. And I had been riding rollers since maybe 2011, but this time I needed them. And it wasn't just a supplemental thing during the winter. It was like, this is how I need to train for this event. And I was curious if it was going to work. I didn't know if it was just going to make me cardiovascularly healthy, or if I'd actually build up enough leg muscles to do a 50-mile ride in Vermont with a whole bunch of hills. So I rode and I rode and I rode every day on my rollers until we did one training ride outside 2 days before the event. And I managed to finish it, and I was really thankful that Mike was with me because he pushed me really hard, and I want to keep doing more rides, but I also think that it's really important to understand how dangerous it is for cyclists. Unless you're like a high-profile case like that doctor who got hit in Boston last year, no one's going to talk about you. You can see these ghost bikes all over the city, and Cambridge, Somerville, relatively cyclist friendly, and even then, you don't hear much about it. you have to take it very seriously. You have to assume the risk you're taking. I do hope that motorists and cyclists can kind of get along. I represent both communities. Give room when you pass a cyclist. If you can't get around the cyclist without making a dangerous move on the road, wait. It's not going to take that long. If you're a cyclist, you got to stay calm, because the second you get defensive and flipping off the car that passed you too close or yelling and screaming, they're defensive, and we know how quickly road rage can escalate in a car. So they're going to slam on the brakes, they're going to come after you. It's just not worth it. Let it go. So please share the road for those who do decide to ride outside. I'll be on my rollers, and maybe you'll come along with me on a couple charity rides this year.